So I realized following the steps in the installation guide is not very helpful. I mean, don't follow whatever they tell you. That seems to be pretty bad. So this is how it ended up looking. Now let's get into the video and see my detailed installation guide. Today we're going to start installing with this Klaxon side table. I bought this from Amazon, and this is one of the brands I bought it from. There are other brands which kind of sell the same kind of a side table. I believe it's been manufactured somewhere, and different companies just brand it and sell it with their own names on it. I happened to find a bunch of good reviews, mixed reviews to be honest. Most of them complain that the installation of this side table is pretty hard. I mean, so I gave it a thought, but then I ended up buying it thinking how hard could it possibly be. And upon receiving this product, I realized that whatever they said in the reviews were pretty true. I mean, upon seeing the overwhelming number of screws, I was taken a step back. I mean, I was not really sure what all of these meant. I have installed a few DIY furniture at my house, but none of them were really this complex. They just had a bunch of screws which I just need to bolt in, and that was pretty much it. But upon seeing this, this seemed pretty little bit complex, at least for a common man. So I thought of installing it. Then I thought to myself, probably if I made a video out of it, some people could really benefit from it. And here, that is my video. So first it says fix all mini screws and mini fixed drums. So here it also talks about what's a drum is, what's a dowel, screw, and a screw holder. So for example, this happens to be a dowel, and this happens to be a drum. This happens to be a drum, and this happens to be your screw. This happens to be a screw, and the holders, screw holders, are already placed inside these side table pieces. So this side table is made of engineered wood, basically compressed wood. So it's not a solid wood by any means. And also I happen to find a lot of scratches, to be honest, but I'm hoping after installation it'll probably go under the table, or I won't probably notice it. I'm just trying to look at the brighter side here. So let's get started. And if you notice right out of the box, once you take it out of the box, you'll find that all these pieces are labeled with alphabets. So they are alphabetically labeled like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and that's how they start installing them as well. So upon turning this, you'll find there are big holes right here. So these holes are places to place this particular piece called drum. Okay, so this drum, also if you notice, this drum has an arrow mark right here. Okay, there will be a pointed arrow mark which will signify the direction in which you need to place the drum inside this placeholder. So for example, my understanding is this happens to be, so upon some research I did in the internet, so this is called like a cam lock nut. So upon what happens is this, so you place this drum on the placeholder and you insert the screw, and you pretty much start screwing this head, and this is going to like travel and lock this nut, lock the screw in place so that it's tightly, firmly fixed in the side table. So what you need to do is make sure you find the arrow mark Let me see if I could probably focus. Yeah, I hope you could see right now. Yes. So this is the arrow mark which I was talking about. So you need to place this arrow mark right facing the hole on the other side of the engineered wood. So when you're placing the drum, make sure that you place this arrowhead exactly. So as you can see right here, this arrowhead is facing towards the hole in which I'll be placing my dowel. So this will probably go in here. No, I don't think it goes here. I think this screw will just go right in, and we'll start screwing them, and that's how it's gonna take place. Or I might be probably wrong, but then let's see where this thing gets me. So this right here, I'm gonna place it in. So yeah, snap it in, start snapping it in. It doesn't really matter if, for example, let's say if the arrow is not exactly facing the, the holes for the screw, you can still try to screw it in the right direction by using a Phillips screwdriver. You could probably turn this around. So don't worry if you happen to place it the other way around. But from what I could see, once you pop it in, I don't think it's really hard to pop it back up. So it's just a one-time thing to make sure you do it the right way. Yeah, you just need to pop this thing in. It's just going to fit in firmly inside. It's pretty firm the way it pops inside. Yeah, so that's about it. So I'll probably fast forward this for you. We'll get to the point where once I've fixed all the drums and screws in it. So now that we have placed all the drums inside the drum holder, now we need to start placing the screw inside the screw holders. So these screw holders are already placed inside these pieces, these plywood pieces right here. So all you need to do is take out the screws and start screwing in, like how I've done right here. So it's a very simple process. All you need to do is take this screw and place it in the screw holder and start placing it in, and screw it till you see this part of the thread inside the piece. So not this thread, this bigger spaced thread. So the smaller spaced thread, this area alone should just go inside the piece. So screw it till it goes till that point. So take a Phillips screwdriver and start screwing it in. This seems to be small. So you start screwing all of these pieces, and we'll get started with the installation of this side table. Okay, so the one thing the installation guide never tells you is that what is the use of this dowels. So this happens to be some kind of a wood piece, and it doesn't really tell you what to do with this. And you have a bunch of that in the screw pouch which came along with this side table installation. And the assembly, the guide, the installation guide doesn't even talk about even a word about it. So I figured, let me use my own brain and see what I can probably do. So it happens to be that, you know, you need to place this in between the drum screws. So what it's going to happen is, so for example, so okay, make sure you install all the screws inside the screw head like this, as you can see right there. I've screwed in all that in each of the boards, and after that the installation guide says to connect E with A. So this is E right here, as you could see. So this is E right here, and I'm going to connect this A on top of E. So I first tried to connect that with just, let me move this a little bit back. So as you can see right here, so there are two screws, and there are two holes here as well, which locks in with the cam lock nut right here. But if you just place it without these dowels, I mean, these things act like a reinforced support. I mean, instead of just holding the entire board with just these two screws, so this will reinforce the structure so it's even more firm. I believe we can do it without that as well, but I'm not sure how firm it's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and use that here as well, and let's see how things go. So you need to push it in with little bit of force. It's not very easy to push it in. It seems to need a little bit of force. Yeah. Now I'm going to place this on top of E. Yes, just like that. I'm going to start pushing it in. That's it. Yeah, now it looks, I mean, it feels more firm with the dowels placed in between the whole board E and A. So now that we have placed it right here, we're going to start using the cam lock nut and start screwing them. So screw it in until, you know, you find some resistance. So as you can see right here, I mean, I'm not able to screw it further than this. So, you know, I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. It seems to be pretty solid. Yeah, that's it. So this seems to be pretty firm. I'm going to turn this around as the installation guide says. Install, connect B and C with A. So this happens to be A. I'm going to start connecting B and C on top of A. So this happens to be C. All right. So here, once again, I've done the same thing right here. So I've connected the dowels inside the holes present. So I'm going to push it in with a little bit of force. Hope I don't break it. So I'm going to place this thing inside. All right. All right. This seems to be pretty harder than I thought. Okay, so once you place the dowels in between the boards, it doesn't very easily go in, but that is actually a good thing, because that way your entire assembly is going to be pretty sturdy and firm, right? So I'm going to, as you can see right here, it doesn't easily go in, but you know, if you've placed things properly and there are holes present against each other, that shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to use a little bit of force with my wrist, and I'm going to push it in. Okay, that seems to be pretty firm. Now I'm going to turn it around, and with the cam lock screw, follow the same step and start locking the nuts against each other. That's it. All right, I'm going to do that for the B as well, this side. So always start rotating in that clockwise direction. That's how it seems to work. No matter where you are, I mean, whichever direction you're in, make sure you screw it um, on the clockwise direction. So as you could see from this installation, can you find something wrong? That's right. So there is no proper lamination here, but there is proper lamination right there. I believe what I need to do is I need to install it the other way around. I mean, probably I need to rotate this thing back. So, oh my God, that is going to be a hard thing. Let's see how easy that's going to be. So I'm loosening the cam lock nut. Hoping this thing will come out. So with a little bit of, uh, hard work, I was able to take this thing out. So make sure, the laminated sides are always facing on the outside so that it doesn't look very ugly. Yeah, so the one thing I did was to make sure, I mean, just in case if you happen to place it wrongly, make sure when you're unscrewing it, when you're unscrewing the cam lock nut, make sure you position the arrowhead towards the hole. So that's the only way you could probably take this thing back. I mean, I was able to take it back. So first I tried it by unscrewing it to the fullest extent, but this happens to screw a little bit further backwards as well. So when you do it that way, this again gets locked here, so it doesn't really come out. So make sure you place this arrowhead towards the hole, so that way even if you were to place it wrongly and lock it, you'll be in a position to take it back out. So I have hopefully done that. So this time I'm going to place it properly. So these are the dowels which I placed before. Hopefully that will be used again, so I'm hoping that I don't need to take it out. So I'm going to place new dowels here as well. So let's see how this thing goes. So now I'm going to place the D board on top of A, B and C. So the alphabetical order in which these have been labeled are pretty, I think they're in a serial number. I mean, they tend to be in the same order as our alphabets. So I'm going to place this right here, but I'm not really sure how this thing is going to. Okay, all right. So this seems to be, I guess, a little more tough than I thought. So even though this gets placed easily, but I happen to find a little bit of a very big flaw right here. I mean, I'm not really even sure how to place them. Okay, I'll tell you what the problem that I'm currently facing. Can you see these two screws right here? So I need to wedge this thing inside there as well. At the same time, I need to place these screws as well here. So that's a tricky one. I'm not really sure how that's gonna happen. Let's see. With little bit of, okay, so this is going to be a very tricky job. So what we're going to do right here is, so as you can see right here, this happens to displace a little bit backside, right? So what we can probably do is, let me try placing the dowels first right here. Let's see how it's gonna go. From the looks of it, I don't think it is going to properly fit. I'm starting to think if this is the right way. Okay, so now I have figured out a way. So I realized following the steps in the installation guide is not very helpful. I mean, don't follow whatever they tell you. That seems to be pretty bad. So what I'm going to do is disconnect E with A. So first, so probably disconnect E with A. I'm going to start disconnecting this E with A, and then I'm going to place D on top of this ABC, and then I'll connect E. That makes more sense, right? I mean, I don't know who made this installation guide. The people who made this, or I think this particular brand made the installation guide, and this is probably outsourced from somewhere else. The labels clearly says A, B, C, D, and E. So first go with A, B, C, and then go with D instead of trying to follow the first step of connecting E with A. Or I probably read it wrongly. Probably you have to start. No, that's right. That is what it says. So it says to connect E with A, and then A, B, C. But then that seems to be totally wrong. So I'm going to start disconnecting this. So once again, make sure the arrow is correctly pointing towards the hole. I hope you could see me. Yeah. So I'm going to turn this back towards the hole. All right. And I'm going to start to take this out. Hopefully I'm able to take it out. All right. Okay, so I was successful in disconnecting ABC from E. Now I'm going to toss this aside. All right, now we are going to, that's right. Yes, so we are going to place A on the base, and I'm going to try placing D on top of. So just follow the alphabets and start inserting these boards on top of each other. So that way you'll never end up placing it the wrong way, unlike what the installation guide really tells you. All right, so hopefully what I'm going to do right now is once again not follow the installation guide. We have almost come to the conclusion of the assembly. I'm going to place A, B, C, D, E, F. Where is F? This happens to be G. Okay, so this is F, I believe. Yes. So this happens to be F. Make sure you place the laminated side to facing out. Where is this? Yeah. Okay. So this happens to be a laminated end which will be facing outside. So I'm going to place the F right here. Okay. Now I believe we could go ahead and place the backbone of the entire structure, which is going to be E. Let's place E. Okay, no, I think it's too soon. Once again, I'm not sure if you're able to follow. Let me pan it out a bit. Okay. So as you can see right here, once again, we are facing the same problem. So if I need to place something here, I won't be in a position to screw it here. So let's assemble E at last. So I'm going to place G now on top of F. Now let's place the backbone of the entire assembly, which is going to be E. So let's place E right now. Let's place another set of dowels right in. Now let's place the final assembly. So as you can see right here, there are 2 screws on each level of the board. So on top of D, on top of G, on top of A. So hopefully you're in position to see it. Alright, so that's about it. I guess side profile would make more sense. Alright, so we are going to place it in. Make sure it firmly sits and tap it from behind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this thing upside down. Alright. Now we just need to lock it in place. So for that, find out where each lock nut is and start locking it. So for example, so this is the top side, okay? So the lock nuts for the top are right here on the bottom. Again, clockwise direction. So mostly for locking the cam lock nut, it happens to be from the experience which I've just got right now. It seems it takes 2 screws, 2 times you need to screw it in, and that's about it, as you can see right here. 2 times. 1, 2. And that seems to lock it in place. And that's about it, and that happens to be our side table, and we have successfully installed it without breaking it, and it happens to turn out pretty good, I guess. Yep, it's more sturdier. It's better than what I visualized it to be. Hope you guys, hope everyone who watched this liked it, and if you find it really helpful, a thumbs up and a subscribe to my channel would really be awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, and let me see you on my next video.